imagination or creativity, sometimes it just gets killed. They don't get the thinking time in between. They have so much of vast resources online, and they keep on reading and reading and reading and all that, and sometimes they just come up with the copy-paste things or something like that. So it's sometimes, or probably even if they are not coming up with copy-paste things, but just that they don't come up with the creative stuff.
So what do you want me to put on the disruptive side?
It kills.
What do you want me to write? The volume of information. Is that what you want me to put online?
It would be towards the disruptive side. It would be that it kills the creativity for the students.
Yeah, I just want to capture what is it you're saying? It's the volume of information, isn't it?
Because volume of information.
The point about that, and it is disruptive, because what we've recognised in the past, not so distant past, teacher comes into classroom with a set of textbooks. That is the only information that comes into the classroom. The books are handed round. Turn to chapter 7. Read the chapter. All right? The student doesn't have to make any decisions about what they're going to look at or read. Whereas now, go on the computer, have a look on the internet, see what you can find out about, and then they are overwhelmed. So that's a skill that we obviously have to teach that we didn't in the past. And the skill is how to discriminate between useful knowledge and knowledge which isn't useful. So it is definitely disruptive because it is changes. I'll put in volume of knowledge online.
Can I add to this, Richard, that at times students are exposed to knowledge that is not appropriate for their age. Talking about volume of information, at times they are exposed to information that is inappropriate for their age level.
Sure, but
we've got firewalls for the problems.
I don't want to put that one in because it's a problem that we have, undoubtedly, but I can maybe include it, see it as being included in the volume, because we're trying to encourage them to discriminate what they look at. I know that parents in Pakistan are very worried. As I said to you at the beginning, all the children have got computers that are connected to the internet. And the children know a lot better than their parents do how to use those computers. So the parents are all worried if they've got girls that they're chatting to boys, I suppose, and if they've got boys that they're looking at pornography or something, and they don't know how to deal with it because the children can run rings around them in terms of using the technology. That's why I think what ought to happen at Beaconhouse is that you actually engage with the parents a lot more and actually run classes for them, because there's lots of benefits from that technology and they ought to realise the benefits, and in so doing they'll understand how they can ensure that it's safe and children aren't doing things maybe that they don't want them to be doing. Okay, so I've got one disruptive thing. Have you got another one you want me to give me, or is that the main one?
That was me.
Okay. Anybody else with a disruptive one? So I get a few more things this side. Are there any on this side that I can move over to this side as well? Well, just that. That's what you said, that you hadn't had a turn yet, so go on.
First thing is that we can use wikis for to bring up the children, weak children maybe, for the differentiated tasks. Like for example, we did it. A lot of our teachers have done it. Like we used wiki spaces and we created our accounts, and children were called there and they were also added. And these were those children who needed extra support. And obviously with this scenario of the time limitation and all, we could not support them. But then after having this wiki, group in wiki, it was really good. And children were responding, they were on the track, and they learned.
So is the wiki sustaining what you presently do?
Yes.
See, I might argue it's disruptive, not because it's bad, it's good. It's allowing you to do things, really, that you couldn't have done before. So I think it is disruptive. But it simply, disruptive means it's allowing something that couldn't have happened before, really. And so I'm going to put it that side. Is that all right?
the one more thing that I would like to add in sustenance part, that it increases the presentability. The technology increases the presentability of the lectures and the class that is going on. For
Increases what? The presentability?
presentability of the
What
class.
makes them nicer to watch?
Yes, more interactive.
Okay.
Organized.
Not always, in my view. It's not always true, is it?
Not always, but
PowerPoint
most of the
presentations
time.
can drive you mad. Do you not think?
Yes, like.
So, not mine, of course, but
science is serious.
and anyway, mine aren't PowerPoints anyway. This is Keynote, the Apple equivalent.
Not just sustaining part.
Go on then. You want something more that's sustainable? Go on then.
It's like if the tools and gadgets and computer and all the things which are in ICT are properly used, then it actually enables the learners to be engaged, it enables them to explore, to be enthusiastic, it empowers them, and finally it helps them to evaluate their own work.
Right.
So it brings them up with all the high-level skills.
But how do I put that on here? I mean, I agree with that, but
Effective use of or appropriate use of technology increases students'
I just want a few words that I can put down there. So tell me what words you would.
all the keywords. Appropriate use of 5 keywords. It has the appropriate use of ICT.
Students are very well versed with the IT tools and gadgets. Teachers are talking about that conventional and traditional method. Teachers are not ready to break away with that traditional method because they are not well equipped with the use of these tools. So the lessons become disrupted when the teacher is not able to plan and challenge this, handle this, influx of technology and not able to challenge the students.
So, if I put here, teachers' lack of skill,
And understanding about how to use
or lack of understanding.
Yes. And that is the fear the teachers have that with this new way of teaching with technology, it is going to replace them. And that is the fear that the teachers are not letting it go.
or maybe they're not used to it, they're not very confident about it.
This disruptive one
Go on.
in a positive way. Children can Skype with the international audience,
Right.
and they can have peer discussions.
So I'm just putting Skyping in, but we know what the advantages are of that then.
And
That's
one
right.
More, one more.
Go on.
International forums. International forums for students where children are uploading their work for the international academic audience. Sharing the personal information. Like I earned.
Okay.
I think internet for disruptors. The internet is so fascinating, it's so animated, and sometimes distracted. It's so animated, so fanciful. Whenever they
Well,
open the
in a way,
website,
that's this volume of knowledge, or volume and okay.
there's something else.
Yeah, I know.
Fanciful.
I don't
It
know
distracts the
fanciful.
reader's attention from their work with you have a sign.
I'm going to put too engaging. All right.
Yeah, distracted. So fanciful, so animated.
I mean, you know what the problem is? We all have the problem. I go to the computer and I think, I'm just going to go and look this up.
Yeah.
And then I say, oh, that's quite interesting. And then before I know it, I've even forgotten what it was I was going to look up because I've gone down something else. And it is very distracting from that point of view. Okay.
And sustaining content with games also.
Games. Sustaining.
No, it's sustaining. Positive disruptive. I've used one. Interface. A game, but keeping students engaged. Keeping students engaged. They use their side on keeping that interface of that side.
It's different. I'll put games.
And pop-ups as well.
Do you want me to put games the other side as well?
And education.
You want it sustaining as well? Do you say as well? We can argue about it. There we are. We've got one on each side. Right. I'm going to stop the list there. But the point of this is to think about really the step change that takes place. Whenever a technology is introduced, it's always introduced really to mirror whatever came before it, like the car and the horseless carriage. And now, of course, it's completely different. But we as human beings can't conceptualize a completely new mode. We have to actually start using it, get used to it, and then realize, actually, it can do this, it can't do that, we're going to have to do this, and so on. And what we have to think about in education terms is, where is education going to go? It's the changing landscape of education. So we're talking about, how is education actually going to change because of this technology? Because what we try to do generally is we try to carry on doing what we've always been doing, just little bits of improvement. Because it's very uncomfortable if you suddenly throw the whole thing away and say, I'm going to start again. But maybe 20 years' time we'll look back and say, what we're doing now is completely different to what was happening 20 years ago. So I'm going to stop our discussion.
I would like to add just one word, disruptive, that it's not cost effective.
What's not cost effective?
Technology.
What isn't cost effective?
Technology is very expensive for administration. If the administration decide to give computers to all branches, like to BSS, they plan to give computers to all branches. It would be so expensive.
Are you saying then that the cost of the technology outweighs the benefits? So it'd be better not to have any computers in schools? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying
what's good? If you're running a class like this, it's good to have people saying something different. So I'm not. I'd like you to be saying that. No?
As you say that, okay, this iPad thing.
Yes.
If you introduce this thing in all branches of Beaconhouse, it would be so expensive. How
It would. At the moment.
Don't you think we want to change it?
But it could be cheaper in the end to have this. Because you don't need to buy any books.
Yes.
You could say to parents, I mean, at the moment, this machine costs, I think this machine in English money costs, this one is £700. This is the most expensive one because it's wireless and 3G and it's got the biggest memory. But you can get one for down to £400, and all the manufacturers are now rushing to try and produce ones like this. I'll bet you in 2 years' time you'll be able to buy one of these for £50. It may not be quite as good as this. Sorry? The best student will get this. This is the